lately, all I think about is Edmund's funeral, which is an awful thing, and I hate myself for it because the dear man is not dead yet. He's not even sick, and if he were sick, would find it hard to admit he's mortal and is going to die like the rest of us. Oh yes, my husband is mortal all right and has the usual weaknesses. I don't exactly spy on him, but a woman knows when her husband lays down in the gutter and gets up smelling a cheap perfume. At first, I had decided just to bury him in a pine box, but then I realized a pine box wasn't befitting a banker. I have my pride and don't want to appear miserly, even though most people wouldn't care, as Edmund is tight with a penny and has denied them all money at one time or another. So, after a visit to the funeral parlor, I decided on a pretty bronze casket with silver trim and a blue satin liner and a nice pretty pillow. Although, by the time his head hits that pillow, it'll be hard as a wooden dummy's from embalming fluid. When we were first married, Edmund wanted me to do unmentionable things to his body with my tongue, but I told him I wouldn't put my tongue on anything that wasn't sprayed with Lysol first. Well, naturally, he objected and called me names that didn't do much to warm my passion, which cooled considerably after seeing what a man really looked like without his clothes on. Scared me to death. Never asked again. Years later, he started visiting the town whores after he tired of what I thought was genteel behavior so far as sex was concerned. What pleases me most about Edmund is the fact he is a war veteran, which means he'll receive a decorated war veteran's funeral. Actually, though, I think Edmund spent most of his enlisted time going over the general's accounts, tinkering with the books in such a way that did his country proud. I'm wearing a black dress and a soft black straw hat and a veil covering my face to hide dry eyes shining with glee. There's a silk purple flower pinned to my bodice for color. I look fine in my alligator pumps. I have to lay the makeup on a bit heavy so the other mourners can see my face through the black mesh veil. I have red hair, which will contrast nicely with the new purple lipstick I just bought for the occasion. I don't know when I stopped loving Edmund and he became such an embarrassment that I want him dead. I guess the town whores, being more familiar with my husband than I am, is a pill too bitter to swallow because, like I say, I do have my pride. And then, of course, I keep thinking back to our wedding night and remembering the way he snarled at me and said, "Cora, you're a sorry excuse for a wife." Those words still echo in my ears, and remembering the expression on his face like I was something the cat dragged in. Well, that's everything. It's a lovely spring day, and the flowers are blooming in the graveyard. Edmund's casket is neatly placed on the lowering device, ready to be cranked down 6 feet. The air is full of people crying, guns blasting, and planes flying overhead as the old war veteran reads from the Bible. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Such a nice thought, if you don't dwell on it too long. Well, the funeral's over, and frankly, Edmund never looks so good. I can't help feeling a little giddy. But then, suddenly, the door opens and in walks Edmund in the flesh just after I buried him peacefully. There he stands, his face gray, with beads of sweat above his lips. Never saw him that color before. "Cora," he says. "Yes, darling." "Cora, my chest hurts," he says, and drops his aluminum briefcase to the floor. "Oh, it's probably nothing. You never been sick a day in your life. Remember, Edmund, darling?" "You're right. I'm making too much of it," he says, but still stands there waiting for me to do something, waiting with a sharp pain in his chest. "Why don't we take your mind off worrisome things and go to that new French restaurant and maybe dancing?" "Yes, Edmund," I say, "I feel like dancing." He nods like an immortal man, and my mind can't help drifting.